Hello, good evening, and welcome to Recovery Recess, Frontline Forward. My name is Tiffany Flowers, and I'm the campaign manager with the Frontline. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm so glad to be with you tonight. On behalf of everyone on the Frontline, welcome, and we're so glad you're here. We'll be starting our training in just a moment, but first, I'd like to turn it over to Sophia Clark with Let Them Roar, who will talk about Spanish interpretation. Thank you, Sophia.
Hi, everyone. So there's Spanish interpretation available tonight. If you wish to hear the Spanish interpretation, select the globe icon on your screen or the more or three dots icon if you're using a tablet or smartphone, and then you'll select language interpretation and choose Spanish in the menu that pops up. Tenemos interpretación en español esta noche. Si usted desea escuchar la interpretación en español, por favor seleccione el icono del globo en su computadora o donde dice More o los tres puntitos si está usando una tableta o un teléfono inteligente. Seleccione interpretación de idiomas y después español del menú que aparece. I'll turn it back over to Tiffany Flowers, who is the MC for tonight's call.
Thank you, Sophia. First, I want to take a moment for us to acknowledge what we've all experienced last week. There were 8 lives stolen. 6 of those were Asian women, 4 of them were Korean women. And I want to take a moment to share something about all of the victims. Paul Andre Michaels was 54 and leaves behind a wife and 8 siblings. Delania Ashley Juan Gonzalez was 33, was getting a couples massage with her husband as a special treat, but they were in separate rooms, and she leaves behind 2 children. Dayu Fang, age 44, left behind family. Xiaoxi Emily Tan, age 49, leaves behind a 29-year-old daughter and a husband. Yang Yu, age 63, a grandmother of 6, a mother of 2 sons, was a migrant from Korea. Sun Cha Kim, age 69, was a migrant from Korea, grandmother to 3, mother of 2, and wife to a loving husband. Soon Chung Park, age 74, whose husband was left behind. And Hyung Jong Grant, age 51, maiden name Kim, was a single mom, leaving behind her 2 sons, aged 21 and 23. Several families who lost a loved one in this attack have GoFundMe sites, and we're going to drop those links at the end of this in the Zoom chat. If you're able to, I know everyone is struggling in some way or another, but if you are able to, please consider donating to the families. I know that all of us are all far too familiar with the effects of white supremacy. We've grown too familiar with gun violence in this country, and it all hurts and it stings more and more every time. And this is why we fight, and this is why we're here, because we're going to talk to legislators in the coming weeks about the things that we need to do to make this place a better and safer place for all of us. So I would really, really appreciate it, in the name of the lives lost, not just in this tragedy, but all of the people who suffered at the hands of senseless gun violence, if we could just take one moment of silence to hold space for them. Thank you all. So the Frontline is hosting an Instagram Live tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on what must be done. This powerful conversation will be facilitated by our very own Mijin Soul Richard of the Frontline and feature Kara Page of Changing Frequencies and J.M. Wong of Massage Parlor Outreach Project, Pacific Rim Society, and Free Them All Washington. If you're not already, please follow us at We Join the Frontline, all one word. We Join the Frontline on Instagram, and be there at 12:30 tomorrow sharp. We'll get started. Join us for this important conversation. Here at the Frontline, we know that our collective, thoughtful, strategic action is the key to finding the root of this violence and working to end it. Part of that work is understanding that we need to find intersections in our collective struggles and take action together when we can. Tonight's training is the third in a series of frontline skills training to prepare all y'all to take action during the upcoming congressional recess starting on March 27th. Action Action has to be grounded in vision, values, and purpose. The Frontline is hosting calls every Wednesday night, alternating between political analysis and skills training like this call tonight. Be sure to come through next week, Wednesday, March 31st, for the next mass call. When all Black people are free, we are all free. We'll be talking about what the politics and practice of Black liberation can teach us about this country's past, present, and future. Tune in next Wednesday, same time, same place. Next Wednesday is also the Green New Deal Day of Action. So we'll be getting a report back about how those actions went. So don't forget to sign up. Tonight, you're going to learn how to hold your member of Congress accountable through creative, direct action. Before we get into that, I want to tell you a little bit more about our coalition. The Frontline is a collaboration between Movement for Black Lives, United We Dream, the Rising Majority, and the Working Families Party. Last spring and summer, we witnessed the largest social movement in US history. We know many of you took to the streets to defend Black lives. We know many of you also worked hard to harness the spirit into power building strategies. That's where we come in. The Frontline is channeling our collective power to fight for bold and progressive agenda in the Biden administration and beyond. We're here in formation to bring forward a true democracy with racial justice and immigrant justice, with a generative economy and real protections for our people and our planet. Winning all of this requires us to work in right relationship with each other and to keep on keeping on. Many of you have already taken action with the Frontline through our text team, the election defenders, Joy to the Polls, or voter engagement with one of our partner organizations. And for that, we say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are stronger together. We are winning, and you made an impact. If you haven't already, make sure you text the word Frontline and magically popped up Frontline to 30403 so that you can stay in touch with us, join us, and know what's going on. And I promise you, we will not take advantage of the privilege which is having access to you. We need each and every one of you right now on the front line and in this movement. So, what is Recovery Recess? If this is your first call and you're new to what we're doing here at the front line, don't worry. I got you. We got you. Here's what you need to know. The March-April congressional recess is a major opportunity for progressives to mobilize members of the public at scale. That's you and that's me. This is the time when our Congress members are in their home districts and should be listening to how their constituents are doing. It's a critical time to make our voices heard. We're rallying around a broad-based care and relief agenda guided by the principles of the Thrive Agenda and the PRO Act. Millions of Americans are relying on the government to deliver robust recovery policies that offer pathways out of this horrific pandemic crisis that we've all suffered. I'm sorry. So the Working Families Party, together with the Green New Deal Network and the Frontline, are building people power together during the upcoming recess to win critical legislative victories in the short term and create conditions for bigger and bolder legislative and electoral wins in the future. We'll do this by strategically targeting our elected officials. We'll demonstrate support for those Democrats who are already working towards solutions at the scale we need. We'll pressure the Democrats who aren't. We'll name and shame the Republicans who are standing in our way. And our job during this recovery recess and the Time to Thrive Day of Action on March 31st is to push Democrats to deliver on our demands and do so swiftly, without waiting and without watering anything down. We're also organizing actions during the second week of recovery recess. The actions happening near you will depend on where you live and, of course, who your Congress member is. Some of you on this call could join in action to help us advance the Thrive agenda. Some of you can be invited to Jammin for Jobs. That's a really fun direct action. Has to do with music and banjos, and you'll learn more later. Some of you will be asked to lead and organize on your own and take on your own actions. This week, we'll get into what you can do if you don't see an event near you. First things first, get involved right away, again, by texting Frontline to 30403 if you haven't already. And we'll make sure to connect you with our events map so you know if there's something you can join or something you should lead. Again, it's hashtag time to thrive. So let me tell you a little bit about what's going on. On tonight's call, we're going to learn about one of my favorite types of action, distributed action. Distributed actions are actions that you can do no matter where you are, which is why it's one of my favorites. This is an effective strategy to demonstrate our movement's power in all corners of this country. First up, my friend and teammate LJ Amsterdam from the Frontline is going to come on and talk about the different types of actions we're doing this recovery recess. Then we'll be joined by Iris Butler, an activist from Denver, to show you how to wheat paste wanted posters. That's putting up wanted posters for those members of Congress who want to undo our democracy. Then we'll have Sophia Clark from Let Them Roar guide us through Jammin for Jobs, a way that musicians are taking action during recovery recess. So enough from me. I'm going to turn it over to LJ. Thank you. See you soon.
Thanks, Tiffany. Hey, everyone. I'm LJ. I use she and her pronouns. And I'm so grateful to be here with all y'all tonight. But before we get into any new stuff, I want to take us back to the future on a few things and give y'all a recap of the past skills trainings that we've done here at the Frontline. So I'm very excited that y'all are able to catch up and watch these trainings in full on our YouTube channel at this link right here. But also I'm going to give a quick recap and hope that you go check out the videos in full on YouTube. So first, we're going to cover lobbying, which I know that sounds like a dirty word, but lobbying really is just setting up a meeting with your elected official to advocate for yourself and your community. Lobbying gets dirty when the big corporations and the big banks get involved. But lobbying is a keystone tactic in our recess recovery strategy. We're asking you to meet with members of Congress who are either already friendly to our platform or who are neutral on it. We are not asking you to go have sit downs with congressional leaders who are explicitly opposed to our platform. Why are we going to meet with people who are already with us? It's because we want to secure our allies in Congress who actually represent the people. And we want to start pushing on the friendly neutrals to commit to making the changes we need. So if you're meeting with an elected who you think can be moved to our side, the meeting should look something like this. First, introduce yourself. Share your name, where you live in the district, how long you've been there, what sandwich shop you go to, any little detail about yourself in that area. Next, tell your story. Not your whole life story, just a short snapshot of your life that emphasizes one or two essential conditions that have shaped your values, right? The communication of values here is so essential. Why does this issue matter to you? And make it personal for your congressional member. Next, name the problem. Why are you here today? How does this affect you and your people? And with that, also, how do you think you should solve the problem? Be specific. What does a solution look like? And last, what do you want this elected official to do to make this solution a reality? Make an ask. So whether you're trying to sway someone to our side or just thank your elected for repping you and your community, you are never there in a meeting just to get to know each other. You should always have goals. So I think these meetings really have three goals. The first is to make a personal connection with your legislator so that they remember you. You are putting a face to the issue. Maybe you bring a meaningful prop like a framed photo of your grandmother, or just something that represents the community that you are part of. The second goal of your meeting is to research. What does your Congress member or their aides think about this issue? What might influence their decision? What barriers do they foresee? So even though you want your elected to hear your story and hear your solution, listening is just as important. Bring someone along to take notes and show that you are taking things seriously. And finally, the third goal, make an ask. Always make an ask. A good organizer always makes an ask. We are here to get our officials to take action, so get a commitment from them. A slightly more escalated way of get a commitment is a tactic called bird dogging. Bird dogging, the phrase comes from like hunting, right? When you're out on the hunt. And bird dogging is a tactic used by grassroots activists to get candidates or elected officials on the record about important issues. The idea is simple. You want to get an official to say things that they wouldn't say in a more structured interview. You want to get them on the record, but off the cuff, revealing either how they really feel about something and not just that talking point, or better yet, getting them to commit to something. The strategy behind bird dogging is that you're able to get answers or commitments that you can then leverage to hold these guys accountable. Traditionally, bird dogging is a tactic that we use at public events such as town halls or a campaign stop, or when an elected is doing some kind of meet and greet in the community. The reason we do bird dogging here is because you want an audience. You want access to the press, and you want people who can say, I heard him go on the record about healthcare, right? But you can bird dog anywhere. It can be at your neighborhood diner or on the way to a fundraiser. You know, we're 1 year into social distancing, and of course, public events and office visits are not always possible, but there are still opportunities. Hospitals and vaccination sites are off limits. Be respectful, but please get creative. So for a bird dogging action, here are your main considerations. It's not too different from the lobbying meeting. So first, select the right person to be your spokesperson. This person needs to be comfortable speaking publicly and be appropriately sized pushy. This person needs to not take no for an answer. So also consider whether there's someone from a group identity that links them to that elected official. So maybe it's a mom talking to a mom or a veteran talking to a veteran. Second is getting the right opportunity. So this is where the research really comes in. Find out where your elected's going to be, find out where they go eat, find out where the fundraisers are, and then once you know where the event is, make sure you get there early, get yourself well positioned. In case there is a Q&A, you want to be right up at front. Now, crafting the right question. You only get one shot at this, so crafting your question so that it's sharp and to the point is essential. Then practice it and practice it and practice it. Make backup plans. If you don't get a chance to talk, maybe you can photobomb or hold up a banner or at least talk to the press afterwards. So make sure that it's not a wasted opportunity. And then document it. As I said before, part of the strategy of bird dogging is to get someone on record so that we can then hold them accountable in our organizing. If you don't have it on video, it kind of didn't happen. So we need that proof so that we can hold them to it. And bird dogging truly is an art form. The success of the action often hangs on the question itself. There are 3 ways to nail the question. First, a yes or no question that forces the elected to have to answer. Second, a question that asks them to take action. For instance, well, what are you going to do about that, right? What are you going to do about COVID? And lastly, a question that exposes their hypocrisy, such as, you said this, but then voted against it, right? That sort of thing. So those are the 3 types of questions. And I know I'm going through it quickly, but I want to encourage you to go to our YouTube page, check out the amazing training video from a few weeks ago. We'll see our trainers give great examples of each of these questions and how to craft them. Lastly, I'm going to talk about nonviolent direct action. It's very close to my heart. A direct action is a tactic of immediate intervention. You don't call and set up a meeting. You don't ask permission. You take action to interrupt business as usual and stop harm from happening. I like to think of direct action as a toolbox. There are lots of creative tactics that you can use to highlight the issue, even during COVID and socially distanced times. We've seen car caravans. We've seen socially distanced street parties. Shout out to the participant who on our last skills call suggested making Ted Cruz branded bottles of sunscreen with anti-Cruz talking points on the label. Hilarious. I love it. Really good ideas coming from y'all. So when it comes to designing an intervention, make sure your action has action logic. A strategic direct action should be immediately and easily identifiable by somebody passing by, even if they aren't familiar with the issue. Somebody should be able to understand it, even if they're not familiar with the issue. Actions should always be grounded in larger efforts of organizing, and we want to create ways to bring more people into our movement. And we do this by storytelling. Our action should make clear why we are here, what we want, and who can give it to us. Who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys, right? All of that should be immediately understandable to somebody passing by. Be simple, be clear, be creative, and be elegant with messages that are easy to comprehend and visual props that elaborate the story of the problem we're trying to solve. Great actions also create pathways for people to get involved. For example, call your congressperson and tell them we want to defund the police and redirect those funds to our schools. So here is a super down and dirty review on how to design a powerful action. First, squad up, get a team. You need to have roles, you need to divide up labor, you need to know who's responsible for what and how decisions get made when you're in the moment. Second is just get creative, imagine, right? Just because we're socially distanced doesn't mean that we can't use music or sound or visuals to tell a story in an action. Get ready, train, prepare, practice, check out the Frontline videos, check out the Frontline action toolkit. And then last, get information. Get everybody into their roles, create the safety plans, and create the backup plans. So I know that was quick, but I hope it was either a helpful recap or a helpful intro if you're just joining us. Check out the full direct action training video library on our YouTube channel. Our friend Robbie breaks down everything you need to know about action planning. And in addition to the YouTube page, we are so psyched to offer you this brand new Frontline Action Toolkit. So this toolkit, it goes into all of these tactics more in depth, and you can download it right here at this link and start preparing for recovery recess. So on to the new stuff. We're gonna check in with Iris Butler, who is a badass action organizer in Denver, who is out here ready with a live Wheatpasting demo for y'all. So Iris, you there?
Yes, hi, I'm here. Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm Iris Butler here in Denver, and I'm going to show you how to wheat paste. But before that, I have an important disclaimer. We want to be clear that at the front line, we do not encourage vandalism or vandalism of private and public property. Posters should be put up at locations where you are allowed to put them. Anyone wheat pasting posters is responsible for confirming permission at that location.
Hi, everybody, and I'm Shauna Foster with the Frontline with my friend Iris that we've been organizing in Denver for this past summer, 2020. And so we're here live with a wheat pasting demo. Right here, we're going to put up some posters of Bobert, who is our nasty representative out here in Colorado. And she's wanted for treason, especially on January 6th. She was like giving tours or something to people who ended up storming the Capitol, and we want to hold her accountable. So we are going to wheat paste these wanted posters, and you can check out that creative action toolkit that LJ just talked about. It has wanted posters for all the seditionists, so this is something you can do wherever you're at. Get permission, but you can put these up. So Iris, you want to take it away with how to do this?
Awesome. My first step is once again get permission. Our second one would be to find a surface that's a-okay. So we got our surface here. We're gonna get our wall paper glue. We're gonna just slide it up there.
Here, let me hold this for you. So while she's wallpapering, wheat paste, you can, there's all kinds of formulas that you can make to make your wheat paste paste. It's usually a flour and water mixture, but I'm kind of lazy, so I just get something from Lowe's that's a wallpaper paste, because that also can come off pretty well. And it's easy to do when you're on the move of wheat pasting, like what Iris is doing here. But
awesome. Once we're done getting our surface all nice and flat, we want to grab our wanted poster right here. We're gonna put it up here. Feel free to get messy with it. After that, we're gonna gloss it over with some more wheat paste over here.
Yeah, so the first step is get your stuff, get permission, get the glue and get it on there, and then put your poster up there pretty thin, put it up. And then it's kind of nice when you're wheat pasting to get it up like in a series for a visual impact.
Yes, like this. So we're gonna put 3 in a row, but this is our first one. It's down here nice and smooth, and like I said, it's okay if you get messy. Just all nice and smooth. The thinner the paper, it'll last longer and stick longer like we want it to be.
Are you ready for the next one?
Yeah, let's do it.
If you have questions, you can put them in the chat to ask our moderators about how to do wheat pasting. But again, this is in our Frontline Action Toolkit. You're like, next time I'll hold the camera, Sean. You can do all this messy stuff.
So sorry. All right, and that's our wheat pasting.
Okay, it's a nice visual, everybody. You got the wanted poster of Bobert's 1, 2, 3 on this bright pink wall here. So you can see, and what you want to do with wheat pasting is you're really trying to raise like public awareness. Like we really want people to understand why Bobert is bad, and why she needs to be out of office for her participation in the January 6th uprising in DC. And so this is a way to get the word out without paying for fancy advertising. It's just, you see a lot of people do this for concert posters, but we can use it for social justice too. So hope you learned a lot with this wheat pasting strategy. And now we want to turn it over to Sophia Clark of Let Them Roar, who's going to be talking about another direct action strategy you can do with music if you're a musician. And so I'm really excited for my friend Sophia to come on and chat with us. us. And thanks so much, Iris, for doing this with me. It was fun. Sophia, are you there?
Yeah. Hi, Shauna. That was so cool to see real live wheat pasting. So my name's Sophia Clark. I live in Western Colorado. I have been involved in immigrant justice organizing in Colorado for a long, long time. And I'm also a musician, and music is an incredibly powerful tool for action. So the way that has worked in my experience is figuring out who in my own community is my audience, who I can reach, and what I can give, and then really tapping into the power of music to inspire people. Music can really move people to action when they feel inspired. It can move people to give money. It can also allow people to have an emotional experience that opens them up to something they might not have considered before. And it's fun and engaging. So it's a great action, and it's an energizing action tool. Real quick, I'm going to play a song that I wrote with a band that I've been in for a long time called Let Them Roar. We wrote this song for the sanctuary movement in Colorado. And we used this song to raise money for women living in sanctuary around the state. So I will play a little bit of this song first. And you can also check out an awesome music video that actually features ASL interpretation in the chat. Thank you. So, I want to invite you all to do the same, either with a song that you have written or a song that inspires you that someone else has written, to join the Jammin' for Jobs during the recovery recess. So I'm going to go through a little guide of how to do that. We're going to share a Spotify playlist that has some inspirational songs that you can choose from. So once you've picked a song or you've written a song that inspires you around one of the issues that we're talking about, then you need to decide how others are going to hear it. So you can make a video to post to social media. You could go live and do it on Instagram, or you could do it in person at your local congressional office. So if you want to get jammin', here's what you do. For making a video, you want to find a quiet spot where the lighting is good, where there aren't going to be distractions. Determine your camera orientation based on where you're planning to post. So for YouTube, it's horizontal. Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, it's going to be vertical. Make sure to test your audio to make sure that you're coming in clear and balanced. If you have an external microphone that can be plugged in with a USB, I recommend using that, and then go for it. Another option is to go live on Instagram. So same thing, find a quiet spot with good lighting. Find a way to prop up your camera with a tripod of some sort. You can also Google DIY phone tripod for some good ideas if you don't have a tripod. To go live, open your Instagram app, click on your stories icon, swipe over to live, and see how many of your followers are online. You want to go live during a time that you think people are around and are going to catch your performance. Then when you're ready, tap live to start the broadcast. Once you're live, you can insert hashtag #JamminForJobs in your comment box and choose pin comment so it stays at the top of your feed. And when you're finished, click end and share to Instagram TV if you want people who missed it to be able to check it out later. And with any of these social media things, make sure to hashtag, and like was mentioned earlier, mention a call to action. Another option is if you live near your congressional office, you can take your instrument and do a little pop-up concert, Jam for Jobs. You can invite others to join with you, but please practice COVID safety by using masks and distancing. Make sure to make a Jammin' for Jobs sign so that people passing by know what's going on, and can look up that hashtag, put that sign in a visible place, and then set up and play your heart out. You could also take a selfie with your sign and your instrument, or ask a friend to be there to capture the whole thing on video and use it on social media. Make sure to use the hashtags #JamminForJobs and Frontline Forward. And super important is to make sure to tag your congressperson, because then this is going to show up on their socials. I can't wait to hear the jams that you all come up with. It can be a super powerful tool and super fun. And one other thing I want to add is if you live in a small town like me, local media eats this stuff up. So you can also notify your local papers and they'll probably show up and put you in the paper. Don't forget to @WeJoinFrontline so that we can make sure to uplift your actions. Thanks everyone for having me, and I'll pass it back to Tiffany now to close us out.
Voice is just angelic. I was texting the team like, wow, her voice, so good. Thank you. We really, really appreciate you joining us. Iris and Shauna, let me tell you guys a little bit about the Frontline team. Shauna is actually a member of the Frontline staff team who I was very surprised to see, because she's on spring break with her family and she still got on camera to teach wheat pasting. It's literally the love that we share for our work and each other on the Frontline. So good to see you, Shauna. Thank you, Iris. And thank you so much, LJ, for getting us together and teaching us how to be information and at our best and highest selves on these visits. So everybody, you just got some top-notch training to bring our communities forward with the Frontline. I'm going to remind you one more time to please text Frontline there on the bottom of the screen. Please text Frontline to 30403 to attend an action or lead an action, and also to stay in touch with your Frontline fam. Make sure you download the brand new action toolkit, which is chock full of pro tips on how to make these actions happen. You can download it here at this link, frontline.fyi/recess toolkit. And please, please, please tune in tomorrow at 12:30. If you remember at the beginning of the call, I told you tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern time on Instagram Live, we're going to host a conversation, and you can hear how to be in better solidarity with our Asian friends, family, and community members at We Join the Frontline on Instagram. All one word, We Join the Frontline. So peace, family. Thank you, thank you, thank you for gathering with us here tonight. We appreciate you. We love you. And don't forget to come back next Wednesday. Thank you again, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening.